Well, I've started what I hope is an internet-wide Twitter discussion.
Mm-hmm.
What is the greatest 1980s cartoon theme song?
1980s cartoon theme song.
Right.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say you can't dip into the 90s, but
well, I was gonna say I'd be more
cartoons.
familiar with the 90s.
Right.
I don't know. I was always a fan of the G.I. Joe theme song.
Of the ones I've seen thrown around, there's G.I. Joe. I forgot about DuckTales. That's a good one.
That is a good one. It's just so catchy.
I know. I was always waving the flag for Ninja Turtles, though.
Yeah, I always enjoyed the
just
because
it's so basic.
Yeah.
What were the other ones? Mask, which I never actually watched, but the theme song's really catchy. I'll give them
that. Gummy Bears was a catchy one.
Gummy Bears. People tend to say Transformers is up there.
I never really watched the Transformer cartoons.
I got in for Beast Wars, but that was early mid-90s. All you needed was you need to say who the good guys are, you need to say who the bad guys are, and you have to say the name of the show.
Yeah.
Just say that ad nauseum. That's all you need.
And that's what DuckTales did. They just introduced everybody. Ninja Turtles introduced everybody.
DuckTales, woo!
Yeah. Guys, what if we add a woo here? Would that work for everyone? Okay, great. It's 5:00 on Friday. Let's mark it down and go.
Ninja Turtles, something, something, this is Shredder, something, something, Leonardo, and the rest of the Turtles.
And pizza.
And pizza.
I don't know. Now I want to go on YouTube and get lost in the wormhole of themes, cartoon theme songs.
Oh, I've done it.
Oh, I'm sure you have. I'm not denying that.
I was doing that while I was playing Pac-Man earlier.
What about your favorite non-cartoon theme song? From like that era.
Same era?
Like Saved by the Bell, Family Matters, Full House.
I don't know. Charles in Charge is
Charles
pretty
in
catchy.
Charge. That is a classic one.
But it's weird because as I was going down the rabbit hole, you find all these cartoons that only lasted 1 or 2 seasons that you've never heard of. Like the Poddington Peas.
Yeah, I never heard of them.
Wheeljack.
Nope.
I mean, they get really random.
They didn't have Netflix back then to help push them.
If only they had those now. Just put all those cartoons on Netflix.
Well, you can watch all those classic Nickelodeon cartoons on a Nickelodeon 90s channel.
Well, they have that on... It's like a block of programming on Teen Nick. It's called The Splat. Because we were watching Double Dare.
Oh, so it's a block of programming. It's not like a channel dedicated to that?
No.
Okay.
It's not like Gas.
Okay. My understanding was they were just going to dedicate a channel to rerunning those classic Nickelodeon shows, cartoons and otherwise.
No.
Like Salute Your Shorts, Eureka's Castle.
I don't think that's there.
Okay.
Because we were watching it. It's like, what is it? 9 or 10 a.m. to 6 a.m. or 9 or 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. It's really stupid time.
Like every night?
I think so.
Well, I guess they figure the people that are watching that are, our age and are...
Well, that was the plan. They figure, kids in college... Well, it's like kids in college. They're not going to know Double Dare and, Rugrats.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. It's weird to think about. Yeah, because I guess if you're a freshman in college, you were born around 1997, right?
Yeah.
If math serves me right.
The Sorcery of Math. See, here's some like He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. That's pretty catchy. Inspector Gadget.
Inspector Gadget was a good one.
I was actually Rubik.
I don't know why, but I was thinking about Inspector Gadget the other day.
Rubik the Amazing Cube.
I never heard of that.
It's a Rubik's Cube. Heathcliff.
I used to love Heathcliff.
Voltron. GoBots. Muppet Babies.
Heathcliff was a more active Garfield.
Yeah, he didn't just fart around the house.
He was out getting into trouble and catching up with what's her name.
Snorks. See, a lot of these I just never heard of. Oh, David the Gnome,
Yeah,
Care Bears,
Care Bear. Yep.
the Raccoons,
Nope, never heard of them.
Thundercats, Gummy Bears.
Power Rangers one has to be up there.
It's up there. Yeah, that's a pretty good non-cartoon one. G.I. Joe, Gem.
Cartoon did better than the movie.
Gem. Well, it's because the movie wasn't Gem.
Fraggle Rock.
Fraggle Rock.
Are they still?
I don't know. With JGL.
Yeah. I'm gonna look into that.
There was a
real quick.
cartoon of Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, and I'm trying because
Flaggle.
there was rumors a little less than a year ago about the movie with Joe Gordon.
Rumors, huh?
Yeah.
Just like how they announced what the spoiler was for the end of Civil War.
Well, that's based on the comics too, right? I mean,
I know. Well, I don't know what I just saw the headline in my Twitter feed and I got a
yeah,
little mad.
I read the article and I was like, well, it's a spoiler if you haven't read the comic, obviously.
Well, I to not say what the spoiler is, I kind of figured they would do that.
Yeah, I mean, the direction they have Avengers going is kind of forcing their hand that way.
Right. And that's that.
Yeah, we won't talk about it anymore.
And done.
All right. I watched Hateful Eight last night.
And
Really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it.
typical Tarantino.
It's very Reservoir Doggish. Obviously from the trailers, you know, there's a group of mostly bounty hunters snuggled up in a cabin during a blizzard. Naturally, no one trusts each other, and then things happen. Which I guess is the plot to most Tarantino films. Nobody trusts each other, and stuff happens. But no, I liked it. It was longer than I expected because I didn't look at the runtime ahead of time. It was close to 3 hours. But no, I enjoyed it. It was one of those where you think you know who you're rooting for, and then at the end you're like, well, maybe I should have been pulling for somebody else. And then stuff happens.
See, here's the thing with runtime. I was thinking about this the other day as I was watching the late 90s psychological thriller Cube.
Mm-hmm.
I did a time check when I thought it was about the hour mark because I wanted to know how much was left, but that kind of ruined it.
Right.
Because then I knew the pace had to pick up sooner or later.
Right, and that's part of the reason too. I was checking the time on my phone because I knew about what time I started the movie, and at one point I was just like, wow, this is like kind of going on. I hope there's some sort of resolution soon. It doesn't just like cut off. So I was looking at my phone at the actual time, but again, I didn't know how long the runtime was until I finished the movie, and it was, I think, like 2 hours 45 minutes, 2 hours 50 minutes.
Holy hell!
But
That's a commitment.
yeah, but I liked it. I want to go see it now in the Roadshow, the 70mm format. So I think I might be doing that on the weekend, but I'll be writing up a review for the old Entertainment Buddha sometime this week.
Yeah, it was nice for that one brief shining moment where we had Star Wars and we could all remain spoiler free. It was nice just not knowing anything. Because what was the... trying to think. There was a movie that just came out that they're... I don't know. I had a thought. I don't thought it anymore.
You lost the thought?
Yeah. But that runtime thing was something that kind of bothered me.
Yeah, I usually don't look at the runtime. Because I usually, basically every movie, comedies are going to be closer to the hour and a half to 2 hour mark. Anything else is going to be, 2.5 ish. So that's like, I kind of go in prepared for that, but I don't really look up the time specifically and say, okay, we're starting at this time. I know it's got to be resolved by this time.
Even knowing the Rotten Tomatoes score, sometimes it kind of influences how I go into a movie.
Yeah, but sometimes on there, usually if I'm looking up a movie and it'll have like the score right there in the search results, I usually don't judge that too much because I know like one way or the other, there's probably a lot of people there that I don't agree with.
Sure. Well, it's
So
also like Star Wars was 95%, and that just means that 95% of people would say it's good and not bad.
right,
But that doesn't mean that they think it's like a 9 out of 10.
right.
They could all think it's like 7 out of 10. It's just everybody thinks it's good.
Yeah, they think it's either a good or bad thing and nothing really in between.
So it's like a sign test, not a. Never mind. That's too deep of a dive.
Well, you already dove down.
Too deep.
All right.
Anyway,
Yes. Anyway,
oh, but before we get there, did you ever eat those gummy sodas called So Delicious, where it was like the cherry soda, the root beer? They were like little gummies.
no, never,
Little sour gummies.
never had those.
I just reminisced about those earlier today, and I miss those. I just miss a lot of. I did a lot of thinking about when we were younger because it was a weird time where, like, late 70s to I speculated like mid 90s was toys.
Mm-hmm.
That was the big thing. You could say like probably sort of early 80s, mid 80s to like 2000s was video games.
Yeah.
Is the big thing now like just smart pads and tablets and apps? Is that like the thing, like is that the default for kids? I mean, they won't have toys anymore. Like toys were the were the lifeblood of almost everything.
Right. Because we didn't have anything else.
Well, that was how they made all the money too.
Well,
it was
right,
like,
right.
hey, we have a toy. Let's make a show and a movie revolving around this toy.
Right. Yeah, I mean it's over Christmas during some family gatherings, my cousin's kids who are I think like one is 3, one is 4 or 5. They both had their little kiddie version of the tablet that they were playing games or watching videos on. Like that was the quote unquote toy they brought, as opposed to like a truck or a car or something.
I mean, I guess Legos are still pretty big.
Well, yeah, Legos are just fantastic. Can't go wrong with Legos. But they're a mess to clean up, and if you take them somewhere, you got to worry about kids eating it, and it's this whole
Well, that's why
thing.
there's Lego candy.
Well, then they get confused with the real Legos.
Oh no! Do you eat the real Lego candy,
like candy cigarettes,
or do you eat the fake Lego candy, which is actually just a Lego?
Yeah,
not candy.
I never messed around with the Lego candy.
And then I just remember things like Ecto Cooler, soda gummies,
Well, there was a brewery in Philly that made Necto Cooler.
orange lava burst from McDonald's. Somebody got that the other day, and I just warm feeling. Orange lava burst.
Back when your biggest concern was your score on Sonic. But that's
Not even that.
That's still your concern.
My biggest concern was what new games are they going to have on Sega Channel next month?
Oh yeah.
Which I still contend was like the greatest thing ever.
Yeah. I mean that was PSN Plus before it was PSN Plus. I mean,
Exactly.
it was nice to have. I was certainly glad I was your friend and you had it.
There's 30 new games that we can play as much as we want. What? There's demos. What?
Did you have the glove?
No, the Power Glove.
Yeah. Was that
My cousin did,
that
and I remember playing with it once.
was that Sega or Nintendo?
That was Nintendo.
Okay.
The thing I wanted for Sega was a thing called I think it was the Eradicator. It was a 6-sided piece of plastic that you put on the ground, and it was supposed to be a controller. So when you moved inside this little marked area, it was supposed to control the player. But I have a feeling it worked like shit. So glad I dodged that.
So
bullet.
it's sort of like Dance Dance Revolution.
Kind of. It wasn't like the touchpads where you stepped on a sensor. I guess it like shot beam. It was like on the boundary of this thing, it shot beams up, and whenever a beam would get
Okay.
crossed, it would.
I got you.
I just thought it looked so cool.
Well, you should check eBay.
It's like the Virtual Boy. It looks cool. And then I get a giant headache and fall over, and my nose starts bleeding. And everything's red. It's a field of red. What colors are there? Well, there's black, and there's red, and there's red.
And that's it? That's all I see?
That's it. It's like the Game Boy. There's green, and there's gray, and that's it. And then there's a spectrum in between, green and gray. That's it.
That's it. Nothing more. Nothing less.
That's it. What do you need more than 2 colors? Now you're just getting selfish.
Stop.
Go get a Game Gear.
Stop being greedy.
Or Lynx.
So what are your thoughts on
Or Turbo Express.
What are your thoughts on ColecoVision bringing back a potential system?
It's stupid. Nobody's gonna. Well, see, here's the rub: is that games nowadays are always filled with bugs anyway. So imagine a shitty game that gets put into a cart too soon and it's filled with bugs. You can't just release a patch for it, and that's it. You can't get DLC for it. That's it.
Right. So I'm curious, how much do you think a cartridge game like that would sell for?
Well, the last time we had a dedicated cartridge system, the Nintendo 64, cartridges were, when they started, they were like $60.
Okay, so basically the same price as a PS4 or Xbox One game now.
Right. And it's going to have to be that much just for them to make it worth it, because you have to get the materials, you have to assemble it. It's much more work than just burning a disc and putting a little stupid label on it.
If their lack of funding on Kickstarter or whatever it was they used shows anything, it's that they should probably not follow through with it. What do they want? Like $1 million, and they got 18,000?
Well,
Something crazy like that.
Even the Retron 5 kind of died out.
Yeah,
just because it wasn't.
Yeah, there hasn't been much clamor for that.
I mean, people go after it still, but I don't think. I mean, for like dedicated retro gamers, it didn't catch.
Right.
It was more like, oh yeah, I like to play retro games every once in a while. I have a couple of cartridges. Yeah, I'll get it. Why not?
Yeah, or
Casual.
I mean, how much did a Retron 5 cost when it came out?
It was either, I think it was 200 for a while.
Okay, because I bought a Super Nintendo for like $50 with Mario World off eBay. So what did the Retron have? That was Super and NES?
It was NES, Famicom, which was the Japanese Nintendo. It had Sega Genesis,
and Sega,
the Mega Drive, which was the PAL version of the Sega. It had Super Nintendo, Super Famicom, Game Boy Advance, and I think Game Boy Color. Was that 10? Nintendo, Famicom, Sega, Mega Drive, Super, Famicom, Game Boy Color, Advance, regular, and then you could play Sega Master System with the converter pack.
Okay. So if you were into at least half of those systems, it was worth it to get it.
Well, even that, you buy it, and then you could say, oh, I'm going to buy a couple of Super Nintendo games. I'm going to buy a couple of Sega games.
Yeah.
I don't need the dedicated system for it.
Right. You don't have to switch wires when you're going from one system to the
God,
next.
that's the worst.
Yeah. You just
most
get
TVs
multiple
don't
TVs.
Even have enough outputs.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You have to get adapters and
switchers, and it's a system.
Yeah. There should be a rule that you can only play retro games on retro televisions. Like the giant cabinet ones that are impossible to move.
I don't know. I don't disagree, but there is something kind of cool like playing Contra on a sweet 1080 television.
Yeah. I guess. I'll take your word for
These
it.
stupid little sprites. Too many sprites, and then they flicker.
The most retro I've been lately was PS3.
Well, I don't blame you.
I finished Uncharted. It was fun. I'm terrible at shooting, but I got better. I got better.
That's what the practice is for.
Yeah. Now it's time for Uncharted 2. All right. What do you say? Speaking of Uncharted, the Eagles. They don't know what they're going to be doing for next year now. They need a coach. It's uncharted waters. That's what I'm getting at.
I know.
All right.
It's you've allowed him to move so many pieces, and then you just get rid of him after 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. Chip Kelly has been fired. Had we recorded this podcast earlier in the evening, we would have missed it. But fortunately, that's not the case. So Chip Kelly is out. Justin, your initial thoughts?
Well, the most startling statistic that I saw was that Andy Reid had almost an identical record to Chip Kelly in their first 3 years as the Eagles coach.
Right,
And
but
Andy Reid had a competent quarterback.
right now, I didn't look at Andy Reid's record starting out. Was it the first 2 seasons were good, then the third season was bad, or did he start out and kind of build them up?
Well,
Because they were,
that is the difference.
what were they? They lost or they won like 4 or 5 games when Andy Reid took over.
Right. He went 5-11, and then 2 straight 11-5 seasons. Chip Kelly went 2 straight 10-6 seasons, and then as of week 16, he was 6-9.
Right.
So he started to decline. But I think that's more a reflection of teams either became aware of his system or his system just didn't jive anymore.
Well,
because I remember the first year they scored so many points and they were just running roughshod over every team.
Well, I think even last year they averaged more points per game than they did his first year.
It's an interesting question.
But
this year it just didn't seem like it was clicking.
no, and I mean you get rid of they got rid of Deshaun Jackson and LaShawn McCoy obviously, and Macklin signed with the Chiefs. That's 3 of their big offensive players. Nick Foles played well when he was there, but I don't think he was ever a franchise quarterback as we've kind of seen with St. Louis this year. So I wasn't too upset with the Nick Foles-Sam Bradford trade. I kind of liked it. But with Bradford, he was out for so long with his injuries that I think it took him a lot longer to get into the swing of things than people expected. And then you bring in DeMarco Murray, you bring in Ryan Matthews, you still have Darren Sproles. You're trying to keep those guys happy. Obviously, that wasn't working. DeMarco's, upset at his lack of touches, which equals his lack of production. I don't know. I kind of wanted to was hoping Chip would get one more year just to see if he could tie everything together, see what he can do in the draft. I know he'd made moves that weren't popular with fans, but I mean, like you were saying earlier, even the president gets 4 years, so why not a coach? And I think this was only the second year he was the GM too,
Right.
which I think might have been the downfall, is that he maybe should have just stayed the coach and obviously offered his input to the GM, but not make all the personnel decisions, because that's like having 2 full-time jobs.
Well, it is 2 full-time.
Right.
Double salary.
Double vacation.
Oh, you can only have 3 slices of pizza at the holiday function? Well, I have 2 jobs. I get 6 slices.
I'll trade you this slice for a first-round pick.
Yeah, got to see the forest through the trees. And you were right. The first season, they had the 4th highest number of points. The second season, he had the 3rd highest. And then this season, it just...
Blah.
That whole division was a dumpster fire, so...
Yeah. And I'm sure the Cowboys are kicking themselves that they couldn't stay healthy, because they could have easily handled this division, I think.
Well, they're just waiting for Johnny Manziel.
For entertainment purposes, I hope he ends up there.
It's funny because I think we were discussing the conspiracy theory that he's just sabotaging himself. And then I saw the sports writer, I don't remember where it was, but they had the same theory.
Yeah, that he's just trying to find a way out of Cleveland.
Right.
He's doing it with 4 Locos. Most recently.
That's a quick and easy way to do it.
So with this Johnny Manziel development, is that when was that from? Just recently, or was that something that popped up that was from a while ago?
That article?
Yeah.
Well, it was hot on the heels of yet another video of Johnny Manziel ostensibly partying,
Well,
of which the Cleveland head coach said that this instance was different.
than the
I'm rolling my
last time
eyes.
he
You
was
can't see
partying.
it. Yeah.
All right. I'm just curious if this video that has surfaced was a recent video or if it was an old video that has just now been made public.
No, this was from Christmas Eve.
Okay. All right. I think he should go to Dallas.
I'm pretty sure he will. I mean, Tony Romo just had metal plates attached to his clavicle, so
I want to see.
he's playing with.
Yeah.
His playing days are numbered.
I want to see Johnny Manziel and
unless he gets some HGH from Peyton Manning.
yeah.
HGH, you taste so good.
I was just gonna do that. Not quick enough.
See, I thought about doing that the other night when I heard he was linked with performance enhancing drugs, but I wasn't sure if it was actually HGH. And I was gonna make the joke, and I quickly backspaced. Like, I don't know if it's HGH. HGH, you taste so
If it's
good.
performance enhancers, 9 times out of 10 it's probably HGH.
Or it's chicken parm.
Well, I don't think that's an illegal enhancement though.
No, but it tastes so good.
It does. It does. Now I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, Johnny Manziel and Jerry Jones. I want to see them partying together in Dallas. That's what I want to see. I want to see
Jerry Jones has like a Tom Collins, and Johnny Manziel has his Cherry Four Locos.
because there was a video that came out a year or two ago of Jerry Jones like in a bar. I forget what it was he was talking about, but he was going off about somebody and he was cursing up a storm, and I wish I could remember what it was, but I can't.
He was talking about that time that Texas wasn't a state.
How Texas is the greatest state, the greatest place on earth. All right. So yeah, coach. Do you think they should have canned him this week or just wait till the end of the season? That's what I was.
I mean, what does
thinking,
this help them?
Well,
Just with the interim coach knowing if he's competent by
Well,
canning Kelly now?
you can't go off of one game
I know.
when
I
there's
guess I don't
nothing
know.
to play for.
Right, and it's not like he's going to be the actual coach anyway.
Right.
Why don't you just play out the string?
Yeah, I mean, unless there's some sort of incentive thing where it's like, hey, Chip, if you finish out the 2015 season, we'll give you a little bonus.
You get that third slice of pizza.
I don't know. I thought it was strange. Like I mentioned before, I would have loved to see one more year. I'm not entirely surprised the Eagles fired him. I mean, I am a little bit because it's only been 3 years, but fans were going crazy. Owner wasn't happy, obviously, so I figured they would at least wait till the end of the season, but obviously they had other plans.
Yeah, I haven't seen one Eagles fan unhappy that he's been removed of his duties.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm unhappy.
Everybody's been pretty happy.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought he deserved one more year, just one more year. But I don't make those decisions.
Forest for the trees. Not yet, anyway.
Not yet.
You could throw your hat in the ring. They're looking for a new coach. What are your skills? Tecmo. Madden.
I finished
quarterback club,
third in fantasy football.
NFL Blitz.
Yeah. All right.
Super high impact.
How did we do last week?
10-yard fight. Both went 8-8 in over-unders, so coin flip. You edged me out in the over-unders going 9-7. I had the palindrome of 7-9. Favorites 5-11. Home team 8-8. Elo model 10-6. We both got burned on Pittsburgh, Carolina, and there was one other one we kind of got burned on. New England.
Jacksonville too.
Jacksonville. Yeah, but those other three, we were pretty sure of ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not so sure.
All right.
Because you choose to kick in overtime.
Yeah. Wait, don't we get to pick? Yeah, you already did.
That's the stupid thing is that wasn't even the weirdest play of the week because it was that Kirk Cousins, brain fart.
Yeah. Hey guys, we're gonna rush, and then Oh, I'm gonna take a knee. I mean, I meant to spike it. And that's it. That's the end of the quarter.
So weird last 30 seconds because the guy on the Eagles clearly hit the ball to try and dick around and make them waste time.
Right, and and he got called for that. He got a penalty for that. But then Kirk Cousins, for whatever reason, instead of spiking the ball to stop the clock, he takes a knee, and that's the end of the quarter.
No, first he gets fresh with the ref.
Well, yeah, he was
Without dinner in a
very,
movie.
very lovingly cupping the ref's face in his hands, and yeah, I don't know.
What do you want, the moon, Mary?
Maybe that's what Chip should have tried to do with Jeff Lurie, the Eagles owner. Just one more year. Just one more year. All right.
I don't know what Kurt was trying to do. So this first game in Week 17 is really the only one that matters. Sort of. There's no Monday night game. So there's that.
There's no Monday night game?
No.
No Saturday game?
Nope. It's all Sunday.
What is going on?
Sunday slate. That's all we got.
What's happening Monday that there's no... Do they always do that? No Monday night game on
I think
Week
they do
17?
in the final week. They just
right.
skip all the Monday games.
All right. Whatever. What do we got?
So the first game, these are all divisional games, by the way, which is fun, except that none of them really matter, except this one. Jets at Buffalo. Jets are favored by 3. If the Jets win, they're in.
Winning, they're in.
Winning, they're in.
I'm going to go with the Jets.
Yeah.
Obviously, they need this game.
They've got a lot to play for.
Yeah. Bills, not so much.
No. Bragging rights. I guess.
Since Fitzpatrick has cut his beard or trimmed his beard, he's gone like 5-1 or something like that.
He's been more kept.
Yeah.
Kempt? Kept. Kemp. Sean Kemp?
Did you have a Sean Kemp is my father t-shirt?
What?
Because there was a joke that Sean Kemp had so many kids that they made t-shirts that said Sean Kemp is my father.
I mean, I played as the Sonics on NBA Jam a lot, so it was like
he was like the one. Him and Gary Payton.
It's like
those were the two.
Well, not in the arcade version.
Who'd you have in the arcade version?
Benoit Benjamin and Sean Kemp.
All right. I always liked Nick Van Exel.
Nick Van Exel. Classic.
Glenn Rice on the Hornets.
Classic by the numbers point guard.
Always draining those threes. All right, wrong sport. You're taking
I'm
New York?
Jets.
All right. Over under 43.
See, the silly thing, well, I'll save that. Over.
Over?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I'll go over. We agreed on a lot of over or unders last week.
Well, that's why we had an identical record.
True.
Suddenly have an urge for Doublemint gum. New England at Miami. New England's favored by 10.
New England.
Hold on, there's a playoff scenario for this. I mean, it's only like seeding that matters.
Yeah, so right now they're the first seed and the Broncos are the second seed. If New England loses and the Broncos win, they'll be tied. I think the Broncos had the tiebreaker, right? Didn't the Broncos beat the Patriots?
50,000 rules.
Pretty sure the Broncos gave the Patriots their first loss.
I want the bullet point doodad. Here we go. Denver clinches a first round bye with a win or... Oh, bye, never mind. Yeah, Denver needs to win and New England needs to lose, which would give them identical records, and Denver has the tiebreaker.
Okay.
See, here's the tricky part. Is that New England's favored by 10. It's the last week. Do you really go all out just to get that home field advantage and risk having some of your guys get hurt? Because they're already pretty depleted.
I think it's one of those games where Belichick's going to see what's happening by like halftime.
Right. See what the out-of-town scoreboard says.
Yeah, if he's if he's
Well, Denver plays at 4, so that
right, Denver plays at 4. So yeah,
unless
so
he
I mean,
engages
I
in
guess
some sort of time travel.
it depends how much the Patriots wants home field.
Use your little jeweler's loop. Do you see what's in his back pocket? Gray's Sports Almanac.
That's okay. So I was over Christmas. They were showing Back to the Future on Spike.
Harry Potter?
No,
Oh.
Back to the Future. And in the scene where old Biff meets young Biff to give him the Gray Sports Almanac, they're listening to the UCLA game, and the announcer's like, "Well, this game's all over. There's 18 seconds left, and they're sending the field goal unit on." He's like, "Yep, this game is over." And he's like, "Bet you $1,000,000 they kick the field goal to win." With 18 seconds left, they do. No field goal takes 18 seconds.
They might not have timeouts.
No, but if he kicks the field goal though, I don't know.
Right.
They made it sound like the clock was stopped at 18 seconds when they kicked the field goal. Maybe that's not the case, but still,
I get
I
you.
don't know. It was a little. I was like, that's perfectly plausible. How is that impossible? Anyway, I digress.
They could lateral it 100 times. It's happened.
What were we talking about?
Miami is a 10-point underdog. My thesis is
They're playing
that's too high.
They're playing in Miami.
In Miami. I think New England already riddled by injuries. I don't think they go full force.
And I get the feeling Miami wants to at least try and ruin the Patriots' playoff hope. I mean, not playoff hope, but home field advantage hope.
Sure.
I'm going to take Miami. I think that 10's too high.
Too high. I'm sure New England wins, but I don't think by
Yeah.
10.
Might get a heavy dose of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. And so the over-under 47.5, I said under because New England's not going to have all their weapons.
Yeah, I'll say under also.
Plus, they're not going to use them the whole time.
Right.
There's no point. Just sit them out. Just sit them out. So there's a reason that fantasy football mostly ends before the last week of the season.
Yeah. I had to berate my cousin in his fantasy league earlier this season because he had the playoffs starting. Well, it's in 10. What is it? 10-team league, and there's top 4 advance. So he wanted week 7. No, he was doing the double week. So the first round was 14 and 15, and then the championship round was 16 and 17. I was like, that's dumb.
Well, it's tough.
I hate the double week to begin with, and then ending on week 17 when you're just going to be picking up random guys because no one's going to be starting. That's not how fantasy football season should end.
I don't hate the double week. That kind of safeguards against something stupid happening. It at least makes it more of a solid team effort.
And naturally, had we done the double week, I probably would have gone to the championship game. But that's what I get.
Frogs had wings, they wouldn't bump their ass when they jump.
Well, that's what I get for being a squeaky wheel. So, all right. So we both took Miami. Both took the under.
Yep. New Orleans at Hotlanta. Falcons laying 4.
Ugh.
In the dome.
Atlanta knocking off Carolina's perfect season.
I know, which is exactly what I knew would happen. Should have bet $1 million on it.
But did you pick Atlanta last week?
Nope.
You picked Carolina. According to your spreadsheet.
Yeah. Atlanta's playing for nothing. This game means nothing.
Yeah, this is just, I don't know. I think Atlanta wants to end on a 2-game streak. I'm gonna go with Atlanta.
Me too.
Let's go over.
52.5, sure.
Let's just.
What do they care?
Let's just stop playing defense and just let them chuck the ball up. That's what I say.
It's one of those random college bowls. Like, what do they care? Just make it like a 52-50 game. Who cares?
Exactly.
Just don't play defense. It's like the Pro Bowl. Don't play defense. Don't even tackle.
I hate the Pro Bowl.
Remember back in the 90s when we were sitting there sipping on Ecto Cooler watching the All-Star game and we thought, you know what? This game counts.
The All-Star game or the Pro Bowl?
Pride. Well, I mean, the Pro Bowl is the All-Star game.
Well, okay. I wasn't sure if we were referring to baseball.
No, I mean, any All-Star game.
All right.
There's a sense of pride. It's like us versus them. But then again,
I don't know if I ever felt that way with the Pro Bowl. Baseball definitely, even NBA at a point. I mean, granted, they don't play defense in the NBA either, But at least you see a lot of like cool alley oops and dunks, and like they're just having fun.
Right.
But the only Pro Bowl or the only All Star game that means anything is baseball, because it, home field advantage to whichever ever league wins.
Well, now it means something.
Well, right. But even before that happened, halfway through the season, every other one, is at the end of the year. When's hockey? Is that during the season?
Football is the only one that's not in the middle of the season.
Oh, right. NBA. Yeah. You're right.
They all split the season, take a break.
NBA one doesn't mean anything for whoever wins, right?
No, baseball's the only one that does that.
Okay.
So the next game, Baltimore at Cincinnati. Cincinnati can clinch a first-round bye with a win and a Denver loss or tie, or Cincinnati. Well, that's the main one.
Yeah, with their loss last week, Cincinnati slid from second to third.
So that's how they control their own destiny. But here's where things get interesting. AJ McCarron is questionable.
That's right. And I can't imagine they would bring Andy Dalton back unless he's 100%.
No.
So that means their backup is, I looked it up, but now I can't remember his name.
Keith Wenning?
Yep, he went to Ball State, I believe.
No, it doesn't matter. Parts unknown. So it's because of that I said Baltimore plus 7.5. Because what do they care? They already spoiled one team's season pretty much.
Yeah.
Do it again. Plus it's 7.5 points. It's way too much.
Yeah, Ryan Mallett looked a little bit sharp against Pittsburgh last week.
Guys, it's Ryan Mallett. Pick up Pittsburgh defense. Oh wait, that didn't work.
Do you think Baltimore defeats two division rivals 2 weeks in a row this year?
Sure.
All right. Well, with that kind of confidence, I'll take Baltimore too.
I mean, 7.5, I could see them easily covering.
This is the week I'm going to be taking a bunch of teams I probably normally wouldn't take.
Well, it's because this week's stupid.
It is. I mean, last week was too.
Well, that was just unintentionally stupid.
Well, right, but there's always one of those weeks at the end of the season between weeks 15 and 17. Of those 3 weeks, some of those just get really weird.
Right. Over under 42.5. I said under.
I'm gonna go over.
You think Keith Wenning just torches that Baltimore defense?
Well, I think if he can at least get the ball to AJ Green and hand the ball off to his dual running backs without fumbling, sure. I think each team will put up in the 20s.
It's up to you.
Maybe there's a defensive touchdown for the Bengals. I don't know. Next one. Another division.
Speaking of the AFC North, piggybacking with Pittsburgh at Cleveland, Pittsburgh needs this and a Jets loss, or their season's over. What a surprise. Pittsburgh's favored by 10, which is pretty high.
And they play at the same time as New York.
Right.
Which I like.
So my thinking is that Pittsburgh's going to slaughter Cleveland, but it won't matter because the Jets will win.
Maybe. Or maybe Rex Ryan wants to ruin his former team's playoff hopes.
I'm sure he does. But then once again, the Pittsburgh team, which was touted as being the most dangerous and the one you wouldn't want to play in the playoffs, doesn't even make the playoffs.
I think
in baseball.
I think that title goes to the Chiefs.
Now it does.
Well, I think even when they were throwing Pittsburgh out there, the Chiefs might have been sneaking up in there.
Yeah, but if Pittsburgh doesn't get caught with their pants down last week and they win,
yeah,
I think you could still be pretty, put your chips on Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Because KC only beat Cleveland by 4, which, in the grand scheme means nothing. But what I'm trying to say is that Pittsburgh is going to be out for blood. They're going to kill the Browns. 10, that's fine.
But
10 points.
Is Johnny Manziel starting?
I don't see why not. They'd be 4 loco to not start him.
I'm going to Google Johnny Manziel 4 loco and images. It almost doesn't even look like him.
I'm pretty sure he's starting.
What if he was just like, guys, that's not me.
That's not me. I've been photoshopped.
I don't have that Merry Christmas sweater. That's not.
I've been bitmapped.
Guys, it's just water in a Four Loko bottle.
Guys,
that's
I put coffee in there. I needed some pep.
Boy.
I did not need cherry.
I'm gonna say Cleveland.
Or lemon. Yeah, but who wins the game?
Oh, I think Pittsburgh wins.
All right. Over under 47.5.
I'm gonna go under.
Yep. I agree. Circle gets the score.
Have you taken all unders?
No, I have 2 overs
Okay.
so far.
All right.
Plenty more to come. Sort of. We'll see. Jacksonville at Houston. This game sort of means something. Houston can win the division
Right.
with a win.
I'm gonna take Jacksonville at plus 6.5.
I kind of felt the same way.
Even though Jacksonville doesn't have anything to play for, I think they maybe want to play spoiler a little bit.
So Houston needs to win or Indianapolis needs to lose.
Right.
So I'm also taking Jacksonville because I think they're better than their record shows. I was actually surprised at how not good their record was.
Yeah.
'Cause we've
Well,
been talking
they had
about
a bunch.
Jacksonville for
They had
a
a
while.
bunch of games that they lost just because of stupid mistakes,
Stupid mistakes.
which Blake Bortles and the team will kind of start to grow out of as they mature, obviously. But
Hopefully.
but
Unless this is just
hey,
a
you know who's not getting fired? Gus Bradley, Jacksonville's coach. He's sticking with them. Good for Jacksonville because they're making improvements. They're getting better.
because they care about football. 45 over under.
Let's go over.
Yep. Shootout.
All right. Speaking of Indianapolis, they're hosting Tennessee, and Indy is a -6.
That makes no sense. You know why?
Josh Freeman.
Josh Freeman.
Is he starting or is Charlie Whitehurst starting?
No. Charlie Whitehurst is on IR.
Oh, that's right.
So they signed Josh Freeman and Landry.
Ryan Lindley.
What did I say?
Landry.
I think I'm right.
I'm pretty sure it's Lindley. Ryan Lindley.
Whatever.
Former Colts quarterback.
So,
Or not former Colts. He's on the Colts. Former Cardinals quarterback.
well, soon to be former Colts quarterback.
Well, he could Tom Brady the whole thing and just become the next best thing.
Or Matt Castle, the whole thing.
Yeah. I'm going to take Indianapolis
Ooh, interesting. I'm taking Tennessee.
because my reasoning is Zach Mettenberger is the starting quarterback for Tennessee,
That's fine.
and I don't think he's very good.
Well, the question is whether Josh Freeman is going to be any good.
Well,
We don't know that. We don't know that. We don't know that he's been not sitting at home watching marathons of Married at First Sight and eating chili and cheese Fritos all season.
Well, he must be in decent playing shape if they're going to sign him and start him right away.
We don't know that. They could have signed, what's his name? Lorenzen Wright.
Jared
Portly
Lorenzen.
quarterback. What did I say?
Lorenzen Wright.
He's a basketball player. Jared
Yep.
Lorenzen.
He's available. Such a big quarterback.
He should just stand outside the stadium and hold a cardboard sign.
6'4", 315 pounds.
Job wanted. Resume available.
Currently playing quarterback for the Northern Kentucky River Monsters.
Is that true?
Yep. According to Wikipedia.
According to Wikipedia.
Yeah, he was a quarterback for Kentucky.
I don't know who that is. There's no over-under.
You don't know who Kentucky is?
No.
Like the University of Kentucky? Like the Kentucky Wildcats? Better known for their basketball team? Anyway.
I think you're just making stuff up.
All right. Well, it's on Wikipedia, so you can look at it. All right.
I could write that on Wikipedia. There's no over-under.
Let's throw out 41 and a half.
Okay. 41.5.
Just because it's weird.
Question mark. Under.
Yeah, I'll go under.
Not high. You. There we go.
We have no idea what Josh Freeman's going to do.
Well, speaking of not having an idea what they're going to do, the Washington professional football team plays at Dallas. The Cowboys are favored by 3.
Kellen Moore, starting quarterback.
Is this because they don't know what Kirk Cousins will literally do?
What, Washington -3?
No, Dallas is -3.
Or Dallas is minus. Yeah, that is weird. But they've got nothing to play for, so that's probably why Dallas is -3. Washington's probably. I mean, they should rest their starters.
That's true.
They have the division. They can't advance. Actually,
No,
that's not true.
They're stuck. They're the 4 seed.
Oh, right. Yeah, because the Seahawks are 6. Yeah. Seahawks don't have the division. That's right.
They have literally nothing to play for.
Yeah, so...
Well, oh boy, now that I know that. Yeah, I'm changing my pick. I had Washington written. I'm going to take Dallas.
I'm still going to take Washington.
Because Washington really has nothing to play for.
I don't...
Kellen Moore has a lot to play for. He's playing for his job over Johnny Manziel. And then he's going to tell him after the game, he's going to say, they'd be 4 loco to not have me next year. Jerry.
Do you think if during Johnny's first game with the Cowboys, Jerry Jones has a 4 loco special? 4 locos for the price of 1?
Do they even sell those anymore?
Well,
or did he buy them off eBay and just keeps them in a hyperbaric chamber?
I think they still make them, but they had to change the recipe from the original because it was so terrible.
Potent?
Yeah. I mean, you and I both know what the originals taste like.
It's like energy drink moonshine.
We literally forced those down at the beach. It was not a pleasant experience.
We were pretty loco about that.
I mean, it did the trick. I'm not denying that. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna take Washington at +3.
Well, there's no over under, so let's say 44.
44. I'm gonna go under.
I'll go over.
All right.
Why not?
I feel like there's going to be a lot of under games this week.
Well, do you have a feeling about this next game?
No.
Your Philadelphia Eagles with the interim coach against the New York Football Giants with what is quite possibly the world's oldest coach. Tom, shiny object. We're playing football.
Guys, can we make sure this game's at 1:00? I got dinner at 4. So
Gotta hit the early bird. I'm on a fixed income.
Early bird at 4, bingo at 6, home by 8.
Back up at it at 3 a.m.
This is probably going to be one of those games where like whoever's, I don't even know who's taking over for the Eagles as interim. I didn't even get that far. It's going to be one of those games where the Eagles probably win, and then therefore cheat themselves out of a better position in draft pick.
Oh, that's right. That's right. They need to play for a draft pick.
I mean,
now.
the Giants don't have any reason to play anybody. The Eagles don't have any reason to play anybody. Can they just say, "Hey guys, let's just call it a tie. Everybody go home. Enjoy your Sunday." I'm gonna
have a cheesesteak.
I'm gonna take Philly. I'm gonna go a little wild. Let's go Eagles, huh?
Yeah, they're gonna play for them, their pride themselves.
I guess.
Like, we finally shed ourselves of Chip Kelly. Let's win a game.
Yeah, I don't know what to think.
Like we've done with Chip Kelly.
All right, so you're taking the Eagles.
Yep.
Over under 51.5. Under. Unless the defenses just don't show up, I don't know.
Well, now they're just going to do the exact opposite.
Right.
As one does.
How about another
Detroit
Yeah.
at Chicago.
How about another meaningless game? Chicago -1.
No Super Bowl shuffle.
Detroit, I guess?
Yeah, that's what I said.
All right. I really, maybe next year we just shouldn't pick week 17.
Well, if it matters.
We'll pick the games that matter then next year.
That makes sense.
All right.
I'm over
Write that down.
46 over under.
Let's go over.
Well, we know which is the best game.
Are you taking
What's
the over?
Worst game? Under.
Under. Okay.
You took the over.
I'll
take the over. You take the under.
I'm not wagering on any of these games. Maybe
Is the worst one Tennessee, Indianapolis?
no, because Indy still has something to play for.
They need like 50 things to happen.
Right, but Washington or Philly and New York need zero things to happen because there's no shot. Same with
Yeah,
Detroit,
but
Chicago.
you're playing for next season for Philly.
I don't know about that. One game.
Sure.
I don't know.
Small sample. No, that's a sufficient sample.
Best game. What do you have? Jets, Buffalo,
Jets buff.
New England, Miami.
It's the
Close
only one that
close second.
matters.
Well, New England one kind of does.
Yeah, well, the Pittsburgh one kind of does.
Cincy one does matters for seeding.
Well, that's just like frivolities. Those are semantics games.
All right. So you're not concerned with seeding so much as.
I don't really care.
All right. Okay. Here's a question for you. Does Pittsburgh make the playoffs?
No.
Okay. Because you're
They
confident.
win and Jets win.
You're confident the Jets are going to beat.
It only makes sense for them to poop the bed in a game that they shouldn't have pooped the bed, and then that ruins their whole season.
Yeah, I don't know. I see Rex Ryan throwing the kitchen sink at the New York Jets because they let him go, and he's bitter, and he's got a chance to ruin their playoff season. I think he'll take great pride if they beat the Jets and Pittsburgh wins and Pittsburgh makes the playoffs over the Jets. I think he'll be quite pleased with himself. I think that's what he's going for.
Well, I can get on board with that, but I have a feeling what's going to happen is the way I plotted it out.
All right.
Boop, boop, boop.
Let's go to 4 o'clocks. We have 5 of them. 5 4 o'clocks. Tampa at Carolina. Carolina's minus 10.5. Well, not necessarily a meaningless game, but more so for seeding again.
For signing dance partners.
Well, who would have the tiebreaker between if Panthers lose and Cardinals win? They're both 14-2.
I think Arizona gets it.
Arizona has a tiebreaker.
I can look this up to get a real doodad.
Check the interwebs.
Arizona gets home field with a win and a Carolina loss.
Okay. So Carolina has home field to play for, basically.
Right.
They're going against Tampa. I don't see Carolina playing everybody for the entire game.
Sure.
I'm gonna go Tampa just because this is our largest marge at 10.5.
Right. With what you just said, I can see a backdoor cover happening.
Yeah.
Something stupid right at the end. So I'm going also with Tampa.
Should that be our podcast name next year? Backdoor cover.
Backdoor cover.
I think we mentioned that before, but
I'm pretty sure something else has the name backdoor cover, and I don't know if we want to go down that.
that path. Google image backdoor cover, please. No.
I can't unsee that.
Over under 47.
Under.
You know what else you can't unsee? A third Death Star. I'm gonna keep using that for crazy situations.
I bet Chip just takes that with him. Guys, you know what we need? Death Star. Let me be the GM. I'll get you a Death Star.
All right. What is over under 47? What did we say anything? What'd you say for 47?
Under.
Yeah, I'm gonna go under also.
Guys, Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, Transformers the movie, Death Stars.
That's all you need.
Why skew? Follow the formula.
All right. How about Oakland at Kansas City? Kansas City minus 6.5.
Kansas is going to win. They got something to play for. Seeding, the ever important semantic seeding.
Well, you don't seem so concerned about that before.
Well, I'm not, but this is for home field. Because they'll get the division if they win and Denver loses.
Right.
So the ball's in their court.
I'm gonna
leapfrog Denver.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Kansas City.
Yep. What does Oakland care? They're leaving this season anyway.
Except this will probably be a game because it's his last NFL game. Charles Woodson is gonna have like 3 interceptions for touchdowns or something like that. I don't know. Over under 43.5. I'm saying over.
Yeah, over.
Right.
Well, if Charles Woodson's going to score 21 points by himself, then they're almost halfway there.
He'll score 18.
Oh, right.
And then it's up to
the kicker
Janikowski to make it 21. All right.
He'll tag in and get the other 3.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking the rest of the way, Stan.
Here's the other one that matters in that Kansas City Denver battle for playoff seeding. San Diego at Denver. Denver is -9.
The other one that matters is Denver. Um.
Brock Osweiler coming off a nice overtime win against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Basically because AJ McCarron fumbled the snap in overtime.
Win's a win.
Well, that's true. Doesn't matter how you get it as long as you get it. I'm going to say Denver. It's probably going to be cold.
What does San Diego care anyway?
Philip Rivers and company is coming from warm and sunny San Diego. Yeah,
I bet Phil just says he doesn't even want to play. I don't even want to play.
I mean, let's look at let's check something here. Let me look. Give me a second. Hold on. San Diego is 4-11. Actually, let me go.
Yeah, they're playing for draft picks.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So they're 4-11. Browns have 3 wins. Titans have 3 wins. Cowboys have 4. Chargers have 4. 49ers have 4. So right now, San Diego's sitting pretty with a nice top 10 pick. Possibly higher, depending on how the tiebreakers work for drafts. I'm gonna stick with Denver. I said Denver. I'm gonna go with Denver.
Good.
All right. Is that who you're picking?
Yep.
Okay. Over under 41.
Over.
Yeah, it seems a little low. I'm gonna go over.
Is our second lowest.
Let's see. Although the Broncos have not put up a lot of points with Osweiler at the helm. That's the only thing that might concern me. But I think San Diego gets... well, let me see here. You know what? I'm going to change it. I'm going to say under for Dallas. I'm going to say under for Dallas, for Denver.
Fine.
I don't think San Diego scores anything, and I think Denver scores like 18.
41.
They're going to score 40 and not go over. Seattle at Arizona. Arizona -6.5.
Another game that sort of matters.
Seahawks currently the 6th seed.
And they're stuck there.
Yeah. Arizona with a win and like we said, with a win and the Panthers loss would have home field and that first seed. So both Arizona more than anything having more to play for.
So does Seattle just rest everybody?
I don't think so.
What do they care?
Well, I don't know. I don't think they give up the game to Arizona. I think at least maybe for a half the starters are out there.
Sure.
And then it's kind of let's see where we are kind of thing. So Seattle can't leapfrog Vikings or Packers?
No.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm going to say Arizona. Over under 47.5.
Under only because I don't think that Seattle's going to do much. It's going to be Arizona's show.
Yeah, I can see that. Then they're
going to score 50 points.
And I agree with that. I'm going to take the under.
Guys, we got the over under by ourselves. We don't need you. Go eat some Dairy Queen. Well, it's Arizona. Wait. Yeah, they have Dairy Queen in Arizona, right?
I'm sure they do. That's a nationwide store, right? I assume.
Sure.
All right. Well, I'm sure there's some good fried ice cream in Arizona.
Ooh.
Right? I mean, there has to be.
Oh, that's true. Hey, Seattle, don't even worry about the game. Go try some of our indigenous cuisine while you're here.
Yeah. On us.
Well, yeah. Anyway,
well, here's
Seattle
here's a $20 gift card. Don't go over $20.
Yeah, you've got $20. Spend it wisely. Right. Everybody's getting cones.
Yeah.
St. Louis at San Francisco. Ooh, they're going west. Huh, interesting. St. Louis 3.5.
Um, St. Louis.
I said San Fran.
I'm saying St. Louis. San Fran's playing for draft pick.
There's usually one team that doesn't get the memo.
Well, and that team probably would be San Fran.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stick with St. Louis.
Out of spite.
Yeah.
37.5 over under.
Let's go over.
Yeah, it's the lowest over under we had this week.
It's the lowest we've had in a long time, isn't it?
So naturally they're going to go over. And then the game that really matters, the Sunday night, the final game, because there's no Monday night. I guess go watch Supergirl or something. Minnesota at Green Bay. Packers favored by 3. So that means if this game were played in... What's a fictional city? The bottled city of Candor. And they were all little mini football players.
You've been reading Dark Knight 3, haven't you?
Of course.
All right, good. Me too.
That they would be even if they were playing in the bottled city of Candor.
In the frozen tundra of Lambeau. Tundra Dome.
Right. Aaron Rodgers has to have this in his back pocket.
I don't know. Vikings are good. Vikings are
Teddy
solid.
Bridgewater Express.
Adrian Peterson. So basically, they're playing to swap seedings, right?
Yeah.
So right now, as it stands, the Vikings will play Washington. Packers will play Seahawks.
Yep.
I think if I were the Vikings, I'd almost rather play Washington, right? I don't know. Seahawks and Washington have both been
yeah,
hot.
but then you get Carolina probably in the second round. It's either would you rather play Carolina or Arizona the second round?
I don't know.
Which
I'm
going through Seattle.
gonna say Minnesota because I like
saying Green
I like
Bay.
them getting points.
I'm saying Green Bay only because I need to make up some ground.
Okay.
I don't know if I can win. I'm behind by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, I have to get all of them right. Playing for keeps.
All right.
I need a lot of things to happen. 45.5 over under.
All right. I'm gonna say under.
I'm going to say over.
Okay. All right. That'll do it. That's week 17. Regular season's come to an end already. Seems like just yesterday.
Well, was this? No, it wasn't yesterday. So if you had to pick your favorite, who do you think will win both conference and then win Super Bowl XL? No, Super Bowl L. Super Bowl large.
The big game.
The big game.
I feel like the Panthers are going to falter.
Yep.
I texted you earlier today saying a wild card team I think it's going to make a run. I just don't know which wild card team.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I got a feeling about the Chiefs. I don't know if they'll get to the Super Bowl, but I got a feeling they're gonna make a run. I mean the favorite right now is Arizona and the Patriots, right?
Yep. And the last 2 seasons, it's been number 1 versus number 1 in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So there's that. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Carolina's going to fall. Arizona probably will pick up the slack.
Do you think Arizona gets the 1 seed?
No.
Okay.
They don't need it.
So if it's Arizona Patriots, it'd be 1 versus 2.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say the Chiefs and Arizona.
See, my final 4 is what I'm thinking is New England versus Kansas, Carolina versus Arizona. But I think that it's going to be New England and Arizona.
So you're going with the favorites.
Which, yes.
All right. Who are you rooting for as a fan?
I guess Cam.
Why? Just for entertainment purposes?
Well, he sort of deserved it.
I'm rooting for Arizona. I want Larry Fitzgerald to win a Super Bowl. He's one of my favorite players. He's stuck with one organization his whole career. He had a chance to leave and didn't. I hope he gets a Super Bowl. I will not
Well, it's
I will
because they
not be
have.
upset if Arizona wins the Super Bowl.
It's because of the ice cream.
Yeah, well,
I'm not leaving the ice cream scene of Arizona. What are you, stupid?
I can't wait to retire. I'm gonna sign a fried ice cream deal. Commercials,
Larry
commercials.
Fitzgerald, House of Frozen Ice Cream, of fried ice cream.
House of frozen ice cream.
House of House of Frozen fried ice cream.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb. I'm gonna say Chiefs, Cardinals, and Cardinals win.
Or he just opens a Dippin' Dots.
There you go. Ice cream of the future
The,
for the past 20 years.
the NFC is favored by 1 point right now.
I think the Patriots they might suffer the wrong injury at the wrong time.
There's that.
Maybe this weekend that might happen. Who knows? All right. So that does it for our regular season picks. And as always, we record this on a Tuesday, which means tomorrow, Justin, is New Comic Book Day. What do you have your eye on?
Well, here's the wrinkle with that. Supposedly, according to sources, my sources say that Marvel sent out books 1 week ahead of time, so they will not be available next day, which is weird. This really did happen.
Wait, what did they do?
Well, this is according to my local store. It says there were a few Marvel comics reported to be available this week, but we've been asked to hold them until their actual release date of January 6th. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 books.
Which ones?
Amazing Spider-Man, Howard the Duck, Nova, Obi-Wan and Anakin, Rocket Raccoon and Groot, Spider-Man 2099, Spidey.
All right, so none that concern me.
Right.
Okay.
What
Isn't there a new Dark Knight this week?
No,
Oh, it's Batman Europa. That's what it is.
that's it.
Yeah,
That's not
I
bad.
enjoy it. It's
Justice
it's
League. That's
it's
it.
four issues. It's Batman and Joker gallivanting around the world, searching for a cure, getting to know one another.
Ooh, Captain America White #5. That's
Yeah,
another
that's on my
one.
list.
That caps that.
Yeah, there wasn't too much else on my regulars list that caught my eye.
Nope. Even next week's going to be an even lighter week,
Yeah.
which I'm not complaining about.
Um.
No, I'm complaining because they usually do the thing during the holiday season where they have almost no books, and they didn't do that this year.
So you would have preferred a break from the books?
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely.
That's what you get for buying almost 200 Thor comics.
I know. I wanted to start that. And I got ones for Christmas. And I've already got like a million more that I just want to start barreling through.
So if you had to guess, out of your collection, how many comics do you actually need to read that you haven't yet?
A majority of them.
So how many comics do you think you have?
Too many.
All right. Enough
to fill half of a room.
And out of that too many, what percentage? Like 70%, 80%?
Well, a lot of them I've read, but I haven't like read them all in order.
Okay.
That's my unrealistic goal.
All right.
It's unrealistic.
So are you
Here's-
piling away vacation days from work so you can just lock yourself in a room for a couple weeks?
I wish. Get myself some soda gummies, some Mr. Pibb, maybe some Butterfinger BBs.
All right.
And the other thing is that apparently DC is going to shuffle things around once they get to issues 52, which is this May, because this whole relaunch was called the New 52, so they might take a page out of Marvel's book and do some relaunching, reshuffling, rebooting once they hit 52.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
That's a stupid thing.
Okay.
I'm tired of this. I mean, I get it. It's a dollars thing.
Yeah.
Some of their books are suffering. They need to inject some life into them, so they think that relaunching and rebooting will do it.
Yeah. I don't know about all that.
Yeah, me neither.
Okay. All right. So
Don't shoot the messenger.
be sure, as always, to check us out on entertainmentbuddha.com. Lots of stuff for end of the year. We've got our top 10 games, top 10 movies. Ray and Matt last last week or 2 weeks ago released a end of the year Golden Buddha Award cast, so be sure to check that out. Um, and yeah, just go to entertainmentbuddha.com. Lots of stuff on there. Some new shots from Deadpool and Batman and Superman Dawn of Justice. It's all on there. Just check it out. And be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes and follow us on Twitter at EntBuddha. And also, this podcast is at No Punt In, the number 10 DED. And that'll do it again. We'll be back next week as the playoffs are set to begin for the 2015-2016 NFL season. And with that, Justin, please take us out.
Join us next week with special guest Chip Kelly. No?
He might be free next week. I mean...
Well, what else is he doing besides holed up in his basement eating cheesesteaks playing Dig Dug? Nothing.